Human anatomy. We are running classes to learn human anatomy. The classes are for the first year BHMS, DHMS students who want to have a comprehensive understanding of the subject. The classes are comprises of lectures, video tutorials. Chapter 1. Chapter 1 outlines definition, branches of anatomy, anatomical terminologies, anatomical plane. Anatomy. Human anatomy is one of the basic essential sciences of medicine, and its knowledge is essential for homeopathy because homeopathy cannot be complete without knowledge of anatomy. It is the scientific study of the structure of organism, including their systems, organs and tissues. It includes the appearance and position of the various parts, the materials from which they are composed, their locations and their relationships with other parts. The term anatomy is commonly taken to refer to human anatomy. Anatomy is the study of structure and organization of the body. The word anatomy is the combination of two Greek words anatom, ana, apart or up, tome, to cut, so it means to study by cutting apart, that is by dissection. Branches of anatomy. Anatomy can be divided into various branches. Major branches are as follows. Number 1. Macroscopic or gross anatomy. In this branch, the structures are studied with naked eye without the aid of microscopes. Gross anatomy can be studied using the following two approaches. A. Regional anatomy. In this approach, we focus on a particular region and study various structures and their arrangement in that particular region. For example, in regional anatomy of the head, we will study the bones, muscles, blood vessels, nerves, etc. of the head region only. This type of approach is applied in cadaveric studies. B. Systemic anatomy. In this approach, we study a particular system of the body as a whole. For example, in systemic study of the cardiovascular system, we will study the heart and the blood vessels found in all parts of the body. This type of approach is necessary to understand of the function of the system as a whole and to understand the coordination among different parts. Number 2. Microscopic anatomy or histology. In this branch, we study the structures, cells and tissues with the help of microscope. Number 3. Embryology or developmental anatomy. This branch deals with the study of embryo from single cell stage to the development of a complete human. It provides details occurring during development, hence it helps in understanding congenital deformities and defects. Number 4. Surface or topographic anatomy. In this branch, Surface of the human body is studied in relation to the deeper parts, hence it enables us to locate the internal structures from the surface of the body. Surface anatomy is of paramount importance in physical examination and surgery. Number 5. Clinical or applied anatomy. In this branch, we apply the anatomical knowledge in clinical practice for the diagnosis and treatment of different conditions. Number 6. Comparative anatomy. In this branch, we compare the anatomy of different species with one another. Number 7. General anatomy. In this branch, we study different body tissues, fluids, systems, etc. in general. Number 8. Radiological anatomy. In this branch, we study the body by using various radiological and imaging techniques. Osteology, study of bones. Myology, study of muscles. Arthrology, study of joints. Neurology, study of nervous system. Angiology, study of circulatory and of the lymphatic system. Endocrinology, study of endocrine system. Splanchology, study of digestive, respiratory, excretory and reproductive system. Dermatology, study of skin and its appendages. Anatomical terminology. This is a form of scientific terminology used by anatomists, zoologists and health professionals such as doctors. You must use proper anatomical terminology throughout your work. Common descriptive terms are often confusing or ambivalent when applied to anatomical systems and will therefore not be used. The terms you will be expected to use and apply are defined below. You will be expected to use the proper terms for each organism. Dorsal and ventral. Dorsal refers to the back of an organism and ventral to the belly. Cranial and caudal. Cranial refers to the head end and caudal to the tail end. Look this. Cranial, caudal. Anterior and posterior. In a quadruped, the terms are synonymous with cranial and caudal. In a biped Homo, anterior is used to indicate the ventral surface and posterior to indicate the dorsal surface. You must be careful to use these terms properly for each organism. Anterior, ventral, posterior, dorsal. Superior and inferior. These terms are the equivalents of cranial and caudal in Homo. Superior means toward the head and inferior toward the feet. These terms are not used for quadrupeds. Superior and inferior, top of head and right and left. Although these may seem obvious, remember that these terms always refer to the specimen's right or left. Proximal and distal. Proximal refers to the end of structure nearest a major point of reference, and distal to the end furthest from a point of reference. The point of reference is usually the origin of a structure such as a limb or the ventral midline of the body. Proximal and distal are relative terms. These terms are correctly used to describe relative positions of structures in the limbs, proximal and distal. Medial and lateral. Medial means nearer the midline of the body, and lateral means further from the midlines. These are relative terms. They may also refer to the midline and sides of a major organ. The outer surface of a limb is the lateral surface and the inner the medial. Superficial and deep. Superficial refers to structures nearer the skin and deep to structures further away from the skin. These are relative terms. They should be used instead of the colloquial on top of superficial to or underneath deep to. Anatomical planes. A plane is a flat surface along which a body can be divided or sectioned to show internal structures. By studying a number of sections of a region, a three-dimensional perspective of structures can be obtained. The standard planes used to divide the vertebrate body are defined below. Sagittal plane, coronal plane, transverse plane. Number 1, sagittal plane or median plane. It divides the body into right and left parts. A median sagittal plane divides the body into equal right and left halves. The red line here represents the sagittal plane. Look this. Number 2, frontal or coronal plane. The coronal plane or frontal plane vertical divides the body into dorsal and ventral, back and front are posterior and anterior portions. The blue shade here represents the coronal plane. 3, transverse plane or axial plane. The transverse plane or axial plane, lateral, horizontal, divides the body into cranial and caudal, head and tail portions. It is perpendicular to the coronal plane and sagittal plane. The green shade here represents the transverse plane. Distal, away from, further from the origin. Proximal, near, closer to the origin. Dorsal, near the upper surface toward the back. Ventral, toward the bottom, toward the belly. Superior, above, over, inferior, below, under. Lateral, toward the side, away from the midline. Medial, toward the midline. Middle, away from the side. Rostral, toward the front. Caudal, toward the back, toward the tail. Anterior, it refers to front of the individual and is synonymous with ventral. For example, ribs are anterior to the heart. Posterior, it refers to the back of the subject and is synonymous with dorsal. For example, heart is posterior to the ribs. anterior and posterior can also be used as relative terms. Thus, the eyes are posterior to the nose but anterior to the back of the head in humans. Medial. It relates to the imaginary midline dividing the body into equal right and left halves. The nose is medial to the eyes. Lateral. It means towards the side with respect to the imaginary midline. The ears are lateral to the eyes. Lungs are lateral to the heart. Superior cranial. It means the part is above another or closer to head. Cranial, for example, eyes are superior to lips. Inferior. It means the part is below another or towards the feet. Caudal, for example, lips are inferior to the eyes. Cranial, caudal, posterior or dorsal, anterior or ventral, superior, inferior, lateral view, anterior view, right, left, proximal, shoulder point, distal, wrist point, medial, midline, away from the body, lateral, proximal, distal. Proximal. It is used to describe a part that is closer to the trunk of the body or closer to another specified point of reference than another part. The elbow is proximal to the wrist. The elbow proximal to wrist. Distal. It means that a particular body part is further from the trunk or further from another specified point of reference than another part. Fingers are distal to the wrist. This is wrist, proximal, and distal part fingers away from the wrist. Flexor. It describes a bending movement that decreases the angle between a segment and its proximal segment. For example, bending the elbow or clenching a hand into a fist are examples of flexion. When sitting down, the knees are flexed. Extensor. It is the opposite of flexion, describing a straightening movement that increases the angle between the body parts. When a joint can move forward and backward, such as the neck and trunk, extension refers to movement in the posterior direction. For example, when standing up, the knees are extended. Radial and ulnar. These are synonyms for lateral and medial in the forearm respectively. Radial point and ulnar. Radial for the wrist point, ulnar little finger. Tubular and tibial. These are synonyms for lateral and medial in the leg. Palmar and plantar. These are used for flexor surface of hand and foot respectively. Internal and external. These terms are applied to walls of hollow structures and organs, for example, head, thorax. Internal is used for any part closer to the inner side of the body of the wall, and external is used for any part closer to the outer side of the wall of the organ. Internal intercostal muscles and external intercostal muscles. Superficial. Superficial, near the outer surface of the organism. For example, skin is superficial to the muscular layer. Deep, further away from the surface of the organism. For example, the external abdominal muscular layers are deep to the skin but superficial to the intestines. Flexion and extension. Flexion and extension are movements that occur in the sagittal plane. They refer to increasing and decreasing the angle between two body parts. Flexion. It refers to a movement that decreases the angle between two body parts. Flexion at the elbow is decreasing the angle between the ulna and the humerus. Elbow and humerus decreasing the angle. Extension. It refers to a movement that increases the angle between two body parts. Extension at the elbow is increases the angle between the ulna and the humerus. Same like decreasing and increasing the angle. This is flexion. Arm flexion, leg flexion, same like extension. Abduction and adduction. Abduction and adduction are two terms that are used to describe movements towards or away from the midline of the body. Abduction is a movement away from the midline is called abduction. Adduction is a movement toward the midline in fingers and toes. The midline used is not the midline of the body but of the hand and foot respectively. Medial and lateral rotation. Medial and lateral rotation describe movement of the limbs around their long axis. Look this, rotation, head rotation, lateral rotation, medial rotation, rotation of the head, neck and lower limbs. Medial rotation. Internal rotation is a rotating movement towards the midline. Medial rotation. Lateral rotation. External rotation is a rotating movement away from the midline. Midline away from the midline. Lateral away from the midline. Circumduction. Circumduction refers to a conical movement of a body part such as a ball and socket joint or the eye. It is a combination of flexion, extension, adduction and abduction. It can be best performed at ball and socket joints such as the hip and shoulder, but may also be performed by other parts of the body such as fingers, hands, feet and head. For example, circumduction occurs when spinning the arm, when performing a serve in tennis or bowling a cricket ball. Look this. He perform a cricket ball, bowling a cricket ball, spinning, rotational movement, circumduction, same like leg circumduction, pronation and supination. This is easily confused with medial and lateral rotation, but the difference is that pronation and supination can occur only when the forearm is semi-flexed. Similar. Supination. Supination. The hand position toward the face. Pronation. Hand position toward the opposite. Pronation moves the palm of the hand so that it is facing posteriorly. Your forearms are pronated when typing on a keyboard. Look this. Pronation, look this. Same like. Back of the hand and front your face. Supination moves the palm of the hand so that it is facing anteriorly. Your hands are supinated when holding a ball of soap. Look this. Hands position toward the face. The front of the face, same like this is supination. Look this. This is a neutral position, pronation in a fist, supination in a fist. Supination, same like open hand, supination, neutral form, and pronation, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion are terms used to describe movements at the ankle. They refer to the two surfaces of the foot and superior surface and the plantar surface, the sole. Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion refers to flexion at the ankle so that the foot points more superiorly. Superior point. Foot. Plantar flexion refers extension at the ankle so that the foot points more inferiorly. Plantar flexion. In the trunk, flexion. It means bending anteriorly. Extension. It means bending posteriorly or straightening up. Lateral flexion. Bending the trunk laterally in the coronal plane. Protraction. Forward movement. Internal rotation, protraction. Scapular protraction, shoulder protraction, the face, head. Retraction, backward movement. Both these terms are used for the movement of shoulder girdle and at the jaw point. External rotation, retraction. Homeopathic doctor never becomes a good homeopath without the knowledge of anatomy. Thank you.